we economic hitmen have managed to create the world's first truly global empire, and it's basically a secret empire. We do it many ways, but principally we identify a country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sisters. The money never actually goes to the country. It goes to our own corporations to build big infrastructure projects in that country that help a few very wealthy people, but don't benefit the majority of the people who are too poor to buy electricity or have cars to drive on the highways, and yet they're left holding a huge debt that they can't repay. So we go back at some point and say, you know, you can't pay your debts. Give us a pound of flesh. Sell your oil real cheap to our oil companies. Vote with us on the next critical UN vote. Allow us to build a military base in your backyard. Something along these lines. And when we fail, the jackals go in and either overthrow or assassinate these leaders. And if the jackals fail, as they did in Iraq, then we send in the military. I don't think the failure is capitalism. I think it's a specific kind of capitalism that we've developed. We've created what I consider a mutant, viral form of capitalism. And this mutant form of capitalism, which I think is really a predatory form of capitalism, has created an extremely unstable, unsustainable, unjust, and very, very dangerous world.
Did you know that a nation's cultural identity is lost due to the colonial mentality brought about by consumerism?
Did you know that ruthless growth because of globalization causes even more poverty in third world countries, especially in Southeast Asia and Africa?
Did you know that our natural resources are being destroyed by globalization due to overconsumption and exploitation?
Did you know that economic output increases, unemployment and underemployment increases?
Did you know that through globalization, voiceless growth is formed or is evident? This happens when economic prosperity and stability encompasses that which is democratic.
We're back! And now for our last headlines. Multinational company Nestle is polluting aquatic resources in the Visayan region, thus rendering unfishable. Here is Guil for the entire news report. Guil?
So anong nangyayari sa fishing village ninyo?
Basically sira na siya, saka polluted na dahil sa Nestle na tapon-tapon ng tsokolate at bovine somatotropin. Yun lang yung kabuhayan namin, saka yun din ang nagbubuhay sa aming mga pamilya dito sa lungsod na to.
Hindi ka na ba humingi ng tulong sa inyong local government?
Yung gobyerno namin, umaasa siya sa Nestle, kaya wala din kami magagawa. Yun lang yung bumubuhay din sa bayan namin, yung Nestle na pabrika na yun.
Here we have a dire situation where a whole community is actually dependent on this company to survive, ladies and gentlemen. So we see here that they have no choice but to accept the bovine somatotropin and the chocolate in their river. Now the fishermen have no choice but to not fish. Now again, this is Guil in Western Visayas. Back to you, Rad.
Thank you very much, Guil, for that news report. Right now, we have our resident specialist, Dr. Hassan, who came from Spain, who will be talking about globalization as it happens. So, Dr. Hassan, what is globalization?
Well, you see, globalization, in an economic standpoint, of course, is how the countries in the different parts of the world gather together and open up trade routes that allows the world market to expand into what we know it as today.
Well, personally, Dr. Hassan, do you think globalization is an advantage or disadvantage for the world at large?
From my standpoint, it is really a double-edged sword. There are good points and there are bad points. For example, it may improve the world economy, but if you dig deeper, you'll find that there are certain effects that it can have on certain parts of the population of our world. Take, for example, the Philippines in Southeast Asia. They are currently being affected by the phenomenon known as brain drain in colonial mentality. For example, hundreds of potential doctors who passed the board exams Instead of pursuing their careers as doctors, they instead look for more lucrative job opportunities abroad, as nurses. So instead of helping the maximum number of people, all they do is simply look for where they can gain the most money. And unfortunately, their own country cannot seem to keep up with the job opportunities abroad. And when we speak of colonial mentality, it's the point about where the countrymen of the Philippines do not seem to support their own products as much as they support the products of other nations. Like, for example, they have a local chocolate called Chocnut. But instead of buying that, it's quite delicious, I must say, but instead of buying that, they instead support brands such as Maltesers and Hershey's from other parts of the world. So as you can see, they really can't help their own economy, but it's helping the economy of other countries.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan, for your thoughts. It truly has helped our viewers understand more what globalization really is about. People of the world and Philippines, this is it for today. Watch me again next week as we talk about a topic of renewable energy. This is GNN, Globalization News Network.